It's pretty shocking what we've seen over the past month just around Disney. Normally, they're actually a pretty stable company outside of Lucasfilm. They don't really delay a lot of things. They certainly don't cancel a lot of things other than like Star Wars projects. But we're seeing, it feels like the walls are crumbling around Bob Iger and Disney. There's delays all over the place, cancellations, people being removed from projects. And you don't normally see a lot of people going out there behind the backs of Disney and actually leaking information. For the most part, they run a pretty tight ship when it comes to entertainment. If you remember, if you're a comics fan, when DC Comics had their bloodbath and their editorial staff was like slashed by like 50% or whatever, or maybe even more than that, well, something similar happened at Marvel Comics, but we never heard about it because Disney does a good job of keeping this stuff under wraps when people are unhappy. But it appears things are breaking apart around Disney and they are absolutely screwed to the future of the MCU and Star Wars as they're trying to fix it all in real time and it's not working. And I'm taking this information from several sources. This isn't like, oh, somebody's got a leak here or a leak there. These stories are from The Hollywood Reporter, smallscreen.co.uk, IndieWire.com, Cosmic Book News, Bounding Into Comics, Twitter. Everybody is breaking the news that Disney itself is breaking. Disney Plus has now updated its release of Marvel shows where none of them have release dates as they now all fall under the coming soon category. Secret Invasion, Echo, Loki Season 2, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, X-Men 97, and What If Season 2 were all scheduled to release in 2023. THR claims that only Loki Season 2, likely a late summer or early fall release, and Secret Invasion, hopefully late spring or early summer, are the only sure bets to get released this year. My oh my, how the times have changed when it comes to the MCU. The bulletproof IP that basically would only grow and grow and grow over time. Kevin Feige thought they were basically bulletproof. He brought in a gaggle of morons, ineptitude creators to take over these roles so he could make a point about the inequities apparently in Hollywood, and it is all blown up in his face spectacularly. Now they've lost billions upon billions of dollars. It turns out that Disney and Star Wars weren't quite enough to get enough people to subscribe to Disney Plus to really keep those subscriber numbers going to where they could actually be profitable. Now, the investors aren't happy. The people behind the scenes are taking a strong look at Disney on whether or not they should keep investing in the company. Stock prices are down. Bob Iger is running around like a chicken with its head cut off saying, we can't make movies with the character for the fourth time. That's why we're struggling. All the while, they're delaying everything that was scheduled to come out on Disney Plus. That was going to be the backbone of that entire subscription service. They need to get their heads out of their asses because they already broke Star Wars, and it appears that they've broken the MCU, perhaps even worse. They've already had to delay the Marvels. Is anyone looking forward to that movie? Maybe 4 people out there like, yeah, I want to see a Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Photon team-up movie. That sounds really cool. It'll be like Freaky Friday, where they're all changing places. It's not surprising that they're scrambling trying to fix this damn thing. Obviously, we saw maybe the first casualty of war going on within Marvel Studios with Victoria Alonso being fired this week. She was in charge of VFX. VFX have been of a disaster across the board in Phase 4. We just launched into Phase 5. VFX are still a disaster. And it sounds like she was likely abusing her positional authority within Marvel Studios. She's been shown the door, and I do not believe Victoria Alonso is going to be the last person to have to fall on the sword for all this stuff. Obviously, Star Wars is an even bigger nightmare. They have a whole slate of movies that were in development but not in production yet. We were going to get a Kevin Feige produced Star Wars movie. We were going to get a Rian Johnson trilogy, a Damon Lindelof movie. I believe we were getting Rogue Squadron from Patsy Jenkins or whatever. Patsy Jenkins projects we know has been canceled. We know Kevin Feige is no longer going to be working on a Star Wars movie so he can concentrate on the MCU. And now we know The Acolyte. The Acolyte is in trouble as well. A new rumor claims that Leslie Headland's The Acolyte project is only filming a pilot or sizzle reel and not an actual full series on Disney Plus. This rumor comes from producer Cameron Pasha and an anonymous source of his, codenamed Sparrow. Pasha claims Sparrow has confirmed in the past that there's a small budget for filming something. They have claimed to me that there is something filming under The Acolyte, but it is not a full series. It is what we would call a presentation or sizzle reel. where they're putting together scenes from individual episodes of written scripts that they have to essentially create as marketing tool to go inside Disney and tell Mr. Iger and others, look, this is what the show is going to look like when we go. Can you please give us the rest of the money? Hopefully Bob Iger, in a stroke of genius, tells them, fuck no, you're untalented. No one has heard of you, Leslie Headland. Why did anyone contract you to do this in the first place? Who did that? And let me fire them as well. Like, this has the stink of everything destroying the MCU right now all over it. A talentless hack more interested in talking about social issues using Star Wars than actually talking about Star Wars. No one wants to watch Star Wars on Disney Plus and not go to a galaxy far, far away. Nobody wants to watch San Francisco in Star Wars. So at least that's smart, right? At least they're not going to do the Acolyte. There's no way that show goes on. That lady's never made anything successful, and Star Wars ain't going to fix that one. As far as the movies go, David Lindelof will no longer write the screenplay for an upcoming Star Wars film, Deadline reports. Lindelof leaves the project along with his co-writer Justin Britt Gibson, and a replacement writer has yet to be announced. The film is reportedly expected to be one of, if not the first, film from the Star Wars franchise to release in theaters since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. Currently, Disney has a slot in its theatrical release calendar for an untitled Star Wars film, dated for December 19th, 2025. Well, thank goodness he left too. Did you watch his Watchmen? That guy doesn't know how to adapt anything. Get the hell out of here. Why was he attached to anything Star Wars in the first place? Why is Kathleen Kennedy still there? She's supposed to resign this year. Let's get it over with. Announce it today. Announce it this week at D23 or Star Wars Celebration, whatever the hell you're doing, where you're going to announce these upcoming projects. This was the one that survived, apparently. It's still got a release date. It's got a director, but it's got no writer or fucking screenplay. How does Star Wars get to this? How could Kathleen Kennedy drop the ball over and over and over and over again, and they never righted this ship? We're 4 years past the last shitty movie, and they don't even have a movie in production. It's not really in development at this point because there's no writer. As far as Rian Johnson goes, according to sources, Disney and Lucasfilm have decided to pull the plug on Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise, mainly because there's been so little movement on his trilogy for a while now. The last I've heard, Disney has given Johnson's trilogy the axe, said an insider about Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. They added, it's been problematic for Disney and Lucasfilm, as they love Johnson and his work, but they just cannot get past the fans' poor reaction to The Last Jedi. I'm a fan. I still can't get over my poor reaction to The Last Jedi. I still think about that movie and how much I hate it. Why would anybody ever consider bringing this guy back to Star Wars? That's when you started making your real critical mistakes. You recognized there was a problem, and you thought the way to solve it was, let's give the guy more leeway. He just needed some more runway within Star Wars and really get this story off the ground, as if that was going to fix anything. The writing has been on the wall for Star Wars for 4 years now, and they still haven't fixed it. And guess what? The Mandalorian Season 3 premiership numbers were down dramatically. It was half of Season 2. They're fucking everything up across the board. The MCU, Pixar, Star Wars, everything. Even Indiana Jones. The Indiana Jones series in development has been canceled at Disney+, which follows the cancellation of Willow after one season at Lucasfilm. This news comes from Jeff Snyder on Twitter. He states, rumor, the Ravenwood Indiana Jones series at Lucasfilm is not moving forward. And furthermore, I've heard that Disney has told Lucasfilm to focus on Star Wars going forward, hence the cancellation of Willow. Yes, Lucasfilm should probably only think about Star Wars every single minute of every single day until they actually fix what's wrong with it. And it doesn't sound like the Indiana Jones movie, the last installment with Harrison Ford as one of the greatest heroes in the history of cinema, is going to be all that successful. The test screenings are poor across the board. No one actually wants to see a new female Indiana Jones character. This program, this show was dead on arrival because there's no enthusiasm or excitement for Indiana Jones right now. It's not that people don't want to see Harrison Ford. It's not that people don't want to see more adventures. They don't want to see them from Disney because all they do is fuck up their franchises. They screw every single thing they touch nowadays. How is it that they made something as incredible starting 13 years ago as the MCU? Now they've dropped the ball on that one. They're having to cancel, delay everything on that. They've absolutely killed Star Wars. Indiana Jones is DOA. Kids don't want to see Pixar movies anymore. That's how bad it has gotten as far as Disney and everything they're touching turning to shit. Need another example? They're absolutely petrified to make Star Wars movies. This was from an insider. And as you can see from the information I showed you today, all this information was correct. If you haven't seen this video, you need to watch it right now. There's also a link in the video description.